I am so fed up with Hollywood now. Originally, this video was going to be why I didn't want to watch Joker Part 2, but then it came to my attention that a lot of the films that I liked that were standalone success films ended up getting very mid sequels that ended up ruining the original story for me. And so now the video is going to be about the death of the standalone success film and why Hollywood feels like they need to rip an amazing story from its grave just to chop it up to the point where people don't like the story anymore.
What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
So I was actually on the interwebs going through films that I could remember when it came to films that I liked from back in the day, getting sequels and then making me realize, oh, this is why I don't think about this film anymore. It actually came about when I first saw that they were going to do a remake to Ben-Hur.
How long were you a slave?
5 years.
What is your name?
Ben-Hur.
And that's when I realized we don't care about good films anymore. Now, if you guys haven't seen the original Ben-Hur, which is amazing, around the time when Technicolor was first coming out, it came out in 1959. It was an amazing story following these two guys. Their life intertwines with the life of Jesus, and it was a really great story. And so I was like, you know what? This is a classic. I can go back and watch it now and just be enthralled with it. Like, I was watching it on VHS. And then they decided to do a remake to that very classic film that came out in, I believe, 2016. I'm sure me and like the rest of the world, we were thinking, who in the hell is asking for a remake to Ben-Hur? As you probably know, no one's talking about that film. You want to know why? Because it really wasn't that good. They had decent actors in it. I think Morgan Freeman was one of the cast members in it, but not even Morgan Freeman could save that film because it was an unnecessary remake to a classic film that came out about 60 years ago that no one asked for, that did not live up to the potential that was that 1959 film. And let's not get started on The Gladiator.
Whose head could I give you to satisfy your fury?
The general will do.
Gladiator was one of those films that did not need the sequel. It was very unnecessary. I mean, the story itself was amazing, and you had amazing actors in it too. When I heard the news that they were thinking about doing a sequel to it 20 years later, this is like the biggest cash grab that I could have ever seen. That film was done. People still talk about it now. One of those films that will still go down as one of those classic films. It didn't need a story continuation. And then they have Denzel Washington. I love Denzel Washington, one of like my favorite actors nowadays. He's just one of those people that just honestly takes the craft seriously in a time where everybody wants to be political, get their audience to pick a side. He stays firm on the art and the craft, and he's just out here encouraging people to be better people. I love it. He couldn't even save that sequel. I think the reason why it annoyed me is because it didn't need to carry on. Like, there was no reason for it to have a continuation. In doing this research, I really wanted to focus on certain films leading up to why I didn't want to watch Joker. I realized, I think the first time I ever saw a film that was good that ended up getting way more sequels than it needed, I want to go all the way back to 1992. I wrote it down. I was doing a Google search to this very cute family film called Beethoven.
No.
Yes, about the dog. It was one of those films that I saw as a child. It was such a cute film. But that film was probably the first film I ever saw maybe Fast and the Furious got its idea from. Like, let's take a very awesome story with a very awesome cast, or just, just the prominent idea of the dog, and let's carry that on until people get tired of it. Because there's 8 Beethoven films. The last film came out in 2014, and it was called Beethoven's Treasure Trail. How far can we go with this Beethoven dog before people get sick and tired of seeing this dog? And I was like, yo, this was it? Like, hopefully no one else decides that they want to do this. Like, hopefully no one decides, like, you know what? I think it's a great idea for us to take our story and just make so many of them that people forget how good the original film actually was. And then Fast and the Furious came out. If you guys haven't yet, I would definitely suggest anybody that is familiar with the fact that there's like 10 or 11 freaking films. Also, they're going to be making a part 2 to Fast 10 in 2026. It's in the works. So there's that. So whatever you thought you loved about Fast and the Furious, yeah, get ready to like be completely disappointed. I would advise anybody that has not seen the original to go back and watch the original just so you can have an idea of where it all started, because it had very humble beginnings.
Let's go for a little ride.
What the hell is that all about?
A business deal that went sour. Plus, I made the mistake of sleeping with his sister.
If you see the original film, you're never going to think in your head, oh, I bet one day they're going to go into space. No. And just like I mentioned in my previous Fast and the Furious videos, my favorite out of all of those films would have to be the first one and the fifth one. The fifth one was just very over the top ridiculous. It was a great film. I mean, if we're going to go down this sequel route, it was one of the best sequels, in my opinion, when it came to that franchise. I think the only film that did a sequel well that should have stopped after the second one is Terminator.
You're the legal guardian of John Connor.
What's he done now?
There was a guy here this morning looking for him, too.
Yeah, big guy on a bike.
I wouldn't worry about him.
Now, granted, this is me saying this after actually having all of the Underworlds, all of the Blades, all of the Terminators, and all of the Resident Evils. When it comes to Resident Evil, I'm not going to lie, I can watch all of them. I think those are all guilty pleasures to me. I can literally sit down, watch Resident Evil, and actually feel good watching it. Like, I get my laughs, I get my entertainment out of it, and I can't say that if they didn't create all the sequels, I would be upset. I enjoyed all of them, but you know what to expect when you're going into those films. The Underworld, the first one and the second one were amazing, and the third one was great too. That last one was atrocious, but I can still go back to the first Underworld and love everything about it. I can go back to the second one and love everything about it. They really did really good with those first three. When it came to Terminator, now I would say Terminator is probably the only franchise up to now that I actually thought that the first and the second one were amazing, and the second one was actually better than the first one. I'm not going to discuss all the other Terminators because those were all complete cash grabs. Those were so not good. But I'm going to mention Terminator before I talk about Joker, because I actually got introduced to Terminator from watching the second one first. Something about the villain in it, also me not realizing that in the first one Arnold Schwarzenegger was actually the villain, made that film even better, because seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger as the actual protagonist,
come with me if you want to live,
the newer version of the robot being the villain,
hasta la vista, baby.
He was probably like one of the best villains that I ever saw in a film up to that point. I was in it when Sarah Connor became like the badass. I didn't see her as the girly girl. But that film was just done really well. Shot really well, written really well, directed really well. Like James Cameron was like on his like game when it came to that. Then when I went and saw the first one, I'm like, oh shit, how was the second one that much of an upgrade to the first one? And not even like the first one isn't good. Seeing where the story started was great. Seeing where they're going with it was incredible. And I'm sure no one in their mind thought, I can't wait for that third one to come out because it's definitely going to be better than the second one. Absolutely not. When I saw the third one and even the fourth one, and then they came out with another one after it, I was like, why? It didn't need to happen. We didn't need to do that. Blade was another one that I liked.
There are worse things out tonight than vampires.
Like what?
Like me.
I liked the first one. I loved the second one. The third one was okay. I can't even say that I hated it. Like, going back and watching the third one is just funny.
See, one of the things you fuckheads need to know about us Night Stalkers is that when you join our club, you get all sorts of groovy little door prizes.
I mean, watching Blade in itself is just actually very entertaining, because we're watching the very first, I guess, uncredited Marvel film before Marvel became like the universe that it is. Blade is amazing, and Wesley Snipes just made Blade. That's why I kind of appreciated Deadpool and Wolverine, because when Blade was in it and he said his line in it,
There's only been one Blade. There's only ever going to be one Blade.
you ain't lying, Wesley. You ain't lying. You are the one and only Blade. Now, when it came to Joker, this is one of my big gripes when it comes to Hollywood. When Joker first came out, which was in 2019, there was a lot of uproar for it. A lot of unnecessary propaganda being pushed in the media when it came to this film about the idea of it inciting violence amongst people that watch it. Authorities were on high alert for anybody that decided to watch it because, this film could encourage people to want to be violent and hurt people. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. And I think I did a reaction to this film from a pitch meeting. I was living at the time with some people, and I was watching it with two other people. people, and we all had three very different viewpoints on this film. I loved the film. I loved it more than I expected because I didn't expect the film to be as good as it was. The other person was very indifferent to it. Like, they could take it or leave it. It wasn't like that big of a deal for them. Another person in the room hate. And when I say hate the film, I don't even want to make it seem like, oh no, they just didn't like it. It wasn't. No, they hated this film. This film to them was the epitome of what is wrong in America. Okay, get it together. It's not even that serious. I understood the character of Arthur.
One small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker? And in the clown.
I like this. The kills, amazing. The kills weren't unnecessary. Like, there was a reason behind everything that was happening in the film. And also, Joaquin Phoenix, just like he was in Gladiator, was just freaking amazing. Like, you can't not, like, when you see someone that has a lot of talent, it's really hard to, like, ignore that. When you see someone that has a gift, especially when it came to him, like, losing all the weight, it reminded me of The Machinist with Christian Bale.
Is someone chasing you?
Not yet. But they will when they find out who I am.
Oh, really?
Another amazing film that I hope no one touches and makes a sequel from. Very unnecessary. I hope I didn't just put that out there in the universe. This film started off really well. It ended really well. I don't see this film going anywhere else. It concluded in such a way to where I felt satisfied as the consumer, as the viewer, as the audience. I was like, I love what they did with this. I am so happy that I decided to watch this. And then I got a notification that they were going to make a part 2.
Let's give the people what they want.
I didn't expect them to do that. Like, make the decision to do a part 2 to a film that was unexpectedly successful. Like, that film was made with no intentions on it making over $1 billion. And my issue came when it came to that film being so successful that instead of just being happy, instead of just taking that money and then just creating a totally different standalone film, they almost felt obligated to continue on with the story as if it needed to continue on. And in the back of my mind, so I was talking to a friend that I used to do commentaries with on this channel in Connecticut, and we both had the same feeling. Like, if you're gonna continue on with the story of Joker, which ultimately in the first film, it really wasn't about Joker. It was more about Arthur, like the character dealing with a world that kind of was treating him like shit. But if you're going to continue on with the story with the title still being Joker, I don't know, simple-minded person speaking out loud probably should have added in Batman. Oh shit. I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense if you're going to continue on with a film being entitled Joker, because let's be honest, who the fuck really cares about Harley Quinn? I like Margot Robbie. I think she's a decent actress. She can't lead a film to save her goddamn life. And I thought, in my opinion, that her Harley Quinn portrayal was fine. But I think we've had enough. I think we're all set. And I think we all understand Harley Quinn. Now, when I was watching what people's viewpoints were on the film in a general sense, no one said anything positive. I might have heard one person say something positive about the character of Harley Quinn and how it stays true to the actual comic itself. Outside of that, everybody else, the people that I respect when it comes to film commentaries and reviews, no one said anything positive. It felt like a film that didn't need to be made.
Joker Folie is to Joker as The Hangover 2 is to The Hangover. I'm not going to remember this one in T-1 day. Yeah. Already forgot.
You guys know from watching me, I don't spend money on films and theaters that I don't care to watch. Especially when it comes to my complete loathing of sequels, prequels, remakes, and reboots. Those are like the epitome of everything wrong with Hollywood and why I don't like modern day films. In watching the reviews, I realized I dodged a bullet. But also, when you see certain people playing in films, you kind of know what to expect. And because Lady Gaga was in this film, I kind of had an idea of what to expect, and I knew that I probably wouldn't like it. Case in point, just like if you see Christina Aguilera in the film, there's a possibility that she's going to sing. You see Jason Statham in the film, you know that he's going to be fighting somebody. Like, these are just things to expect when you see certain people in films, because this is what they're known for. Joker isn't a musical. I don't know any Marvel or DC film that is a musical. Like, you don't go to these films expecting to hear a musical scene. Those are not things to expect. So when I saw Lady Gaga, despite the fact that she actually looks good in the trailer, I'm not looking to watch a musical in a Joker film. And just going back to even watching Suicide Squad, Harley Quinn never was singing. So it really annoyed me that this was the avenue they were going to go down. I don't even care to even watch it to see if the singing is good. It's going against everything that I like about film. The fact that a film can just be good and amazing and popular and successful on its own, and then someone takes the money and decides to ram the story into the ground. Also advise for watching people that I respect when it comes to film commentaries and reviews, that if you love Joker, like the first one, don't watch the sequel. It will ruin the story for me. There's going to be people out there that are going to watch that film. Some people I'm sure are going to like it. A lot of people are not going to like it. And just by spending my money to watch that film, I'm adding to the problem that I don't like. We're not going back to the time where we get Terminator 2s, where original stories are just going to just be created and just let RIP. We're not going back to those times anymore. Times have changed. Eventually, somewhere down the line, we're going to learn from the mistakes of our past. As of right now, I don't know. It really aggravated me. I don't think you guys fully understand. I feel like if you guys have been following me for a while, you know how I feel about stuff like this. It just sucks when you see a film that's just so good. Because in a time where films are not really that great, a film pops out of nowhere and it just blows you out of the fucking water. And then all of a sudden they continue on with the story. And it's like, I feel like this film ended really well. I don't know if this is necessary, but let me give it some time. I'll watch it on a streaming service. Then all of a fucking sudden, you hear people talking about it, and it's like, is it even worth watching on a streaming service at this point? Maybe I will watch it. Maybe I won't. But all I know for sure is the death of the standalone success film is in full effect. Whatever film you used to like from the past, be very careful. They might remake it and then kill the story for you. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you're always notified about the new videos that I have coming out. As long as they don't touch American History X, we'll be good. But let's be honest, modern day Hollywood writers are pussies. No one's touching American History X. I know I talked about it briefly on my channel. I might even do a commentary on it because that film is so good. There's no way that they will touch that film because that film, first off, touches on so many important topics, so raw and like rough and really gritty. No one is as talented as they used to be back in those days to make that remake. I think we're safe with that. Let me know in the comments below, do you think that the death of the standalone success film is like in full effect? Let me know in the comments below because I'd be very intrigued through what you guys think. I really want to talk about this because it really annoys me. You know, it really annoys me how you can have films that you love and you like really have like a genuine connection with it, you know, a little bit of nostalgia. Maybe you watched it at a time in your life where it just hit you in a certain way. Then all of a sudden, years later, someone is going to end up taking that story, remaking it, creating a prequel or even a sequel. Why did you guys ruin that story for me that I loved so much? I have a podcast. I'm sure you guys know this already, but I talk about life as I'm traveling around the US and meeting interesting people along the way. All of the information that I discussed right now will be in the description bar below when it comes to my podcast. Honestly, anything else that I do outside of YouTube. I love you all. I'm sure you guys know that, but I genuinely do. And I hope to see you all in the next video.